right, so if you're like me, keeping up with all the latest technological trends is not easy. And then just when you think you've got it down, new features are introduced, and then you're like, what was that? Well, here with us this morning and over the next few weeks, actually, to help teach us all about some pretty cool and amazing new advances in business communications is Stephen Beamish from the Mitel company. Stephen, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us in the studio.
Thanks for having me today.
It's so true, because I'm just like, okay, something new. As soon as I get something, it's like things change all the time, right?
Yeah, especially in business. I mean, you think about it, in the old days, you'd go sit in an office or a cubicle and you'd work from 9 to 5 and you'd go home. Well, today you can work from anywhere.
It's true.
You can have that business phone at home, 4-digit extension. You can, you take geography right out of the equation. So there's so many different ways to work now.
But that's what makes it so great, the fact that you can work basically from anywhere. And we hear about more and more people who are working from home. And, and I want to delve deeper into this topic because I think that, like everybody who'd love the opportunity to work from home, myself included, or really from anywhere, and still be able to compete with the bigger companies, how is that possible to do?
Well, actually, you have an advantage that way.
You do?
Yeah, but it's interesting you say, be able to work from anywhere. The other thing you hear those people go, oh, I can't seem to turn it off because they can reach me everywhere.
Yeah.
But you have that option.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, what they've actually found is people that work from home, they may start work at 7 a.m. before the kids get up and work for a couple of hours. Then the kids get up, they get them off to school, and then they go back to work, and then they do laundry, or they may do other things. And what studies have shown is these people actually work more and more effectively because they can do it into a day that fits for them.
It's true. It's not that 9 to 5, so you can stretch that out over the course of the day and still make the PTA meeting.
Absolutely, and be more productive.
And be more productive.
Yeah, people that work for me, I have people that work for me all over the world, and first thing I say to them is, I don't care where you work from.
Yeah.
It does not matter. It's just get the job done.
Get the job done. I think that is so cool. I think it's probably something that our viewers out there are probably thinking this morning, because it's what I'm thinking. That is good for big companies, right, and big corporations. But what will work for me or my husband if we have a small business and we're trying to make it?
It works just the same. We're finding a lot of the solutions that we're selling are to small businesses, are to home businesses as well, because you take there's a business, for example, that there is no bricks and mortar, no office. Everybody works from home. But when you call that business, you don't know where they're at, and it's really effective for these people. And literally, they get a telephone, they plug it into the internet, and bingo, it's up and running. So it works for small business as well as large enterprise.
Well, that's good to know. And I know that your company, Mitel, has always been at the forefront of communications solutions, which is amazing. Tell us a little bit more about Mitel's background.
Sure. Well, Mitel's actually been around for over 30 years. And it started as a company doing the old telecom with big boxes and big telephones. But one thing that we found is we needed to progress and stay ahead of the curve. So we're finding that a lot of businesses are saying, okay, what can I expect next, and how can I leverage that to be more productive and more competitive? So it's our job today, what we do is we're very focused on what's coming down. So as soon as we heard about iPads and all these tablet devices, we immediately started to work to enable a business communication on tablets, because we knew that suddenly businesses would say, okay, now I have these tablets, so how can I use this in my business? So Mitel's done a really good job of staying ahead of the curve and making sure that we provide solutions to businesses of all sizes that can leverage the newest technology. And we're located in over 90 countries around the world.
Wow. Tell me a little bit more about you, about your background.
Well,
that's a Barbara Walters question. If you were a tree, what kind of tree would you be, Stephen?
I need Kleenex. Yeah, so I'm not a telecom background guy. I did business and I studied over in Europe, and came back and actually fell in love with a type of business that's always changing.
Wonderful. Well, it's interesting because our corporate office here at the Balancing Act on Lifetime Television, we were so impressed with how your communications technology works that we have made this our own telephone communication solution. Talk about some of the features that we here are so excited to have.
Well, there's something that is called presence, and it can be a good thing and a bad thing. And the thing about presence is you can now tell when somebody's on a telephone when you just look at their name or have that ability to see them in a directory, and you can be able to know when they're reachable and when they're not. So you've got that type of capability, that you have the presence and availability. So instead of calling somebody and waiting and it's going to voicemail, you could decide when they're there to call. But the other thing you have, which is really great, is integrate it into your mobile device. So, you know, people think about mobility as being a road warrior, somebody who's on the road all the time. I like to call it a corridor warrior as well, because the minute I step out of my office and I go down to get coffee or something, I'm mobile. And somebody now that if I was working here, if they called my extension, it'll simultaneously ring my mobile device. So that when I answer that phone, I'm just down the hall.
You can never get away, Stephen.
No, I know. That's what I mean. It's good and bad, right? Yeah.
Right.
And actually, people say, well, geez, I don't want to be contacted all the time. Well, you have the ability to turn it off.
Right.
And that's important to note as well.
I think it's a really great tool that I think every business can appreciate. And I know that you've got a lot of great information that you're going to share with us. I'm fascinated to hear how people can kind of collaborate on the same document in real time. Talk about saving time from all that going back and forth.
Yeah, well, think about the fact that in the olden days, if I worked on a PowerPoint or a Word document and I wanted your input, I would then work on it, send it as an attachment in my email over to you. You'd work on it, send it back, and be these back and forths and all that. Well, did you know that decisions made typically in business are often made in collaboration? It's very rare that one person says, this is what we're going to do, and does the whole thing on their own. Very often collaborate. So now the technology we have is that you can share a document in real live time. You can collaborate and you can open up that doc. So, you know, you could be in San Francisco, I could be in Miami, and we could be working on it at the same time. Or you could be in Switzerland. It doesn't matter. And that way you speed up the ability to get that document modified, and you're working together, truly working together at the same time. So
I love that because it makes it more user-friendly. And I also know that social media plays a big role in today's business world. Briefly touch on this for us.
Yeah, well, that's, you know, you start hearing things now called hangouts and hubs, and this is where people tend to hang out. And if you look at my job, I don't deal just with people in Mitel. I deal with people outside of our business all over the world. And so I can use social media in a secure manner to be able to collaborate with people outside of our business, with customers and with others. And so we leverage the social media capability within our corporate products to be able to do that. I have to tell you, just some terrific information. I know you're going to be with me here over the next several weeks, so looking forward to that. Great meeting you, and we're loving the system here at the Balancing Act. I love to hear that. Great.
Absolutely. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you.
And if you want to learn more about some of the communications solutions mentioned today, simply go to the website. It is mitel.com.